Today's unfortunate story is about a Kristen Heather Gilbert. She was born November 13th, year of 1967. She's an American serial killer and former nurse who was convicted of 4 murders and 2 attempted murders of patients admitted to the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Northampton, Massachusetts. She induced cardiac arrest in patients by injecting their intravenous therapy bags with lethal doses of epinephrine, commonly known as adrenaline, which is untraceable heart stimulant. She would then respond to the coded emergency, often resuscitating the patients herself. Prosecutors said Gilbert was on duty for about half of the 350 deaths that occurred at the hospital from when she started working there in the year of 1989. And that the odds of this merely being a coincidence was like 1 in 1 million. Miss Gilbert was born Kristen Heather Strickling in Fall River, Massachusetts on November 13th, the year of 1967. She was the elder of Richard and Claudia Strickland's 2 daughters. Richard was the electronic executive, while Claudia was a homemaker and part-time teacher. As she entered her teenager years, friends and families noticed that she had a habit of lying. She had a history of faking suicide attempts to manipulate people. According to court records, she had made violent threats against others since she was a teenager. Miss Gilbert graduated from the Groton Dunstable Regional High School in Groton, Massachusetts in the year of 1986. She enrolled at Bridgewater State College in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. After a fake suicide attempt, she was ordered into psychiatric treatment by Bridgewater State College officials. Because of this, in the year of 1987, she transferred to Mount Watchet Community College in Gardner, Massachusetts, and then to Greenfield Community College in Greenfield, Massachusetts. She graduated from the latter with a nursing diploma, becoming a registered nurse in the year of 1988. Later that year, she married Glenn Gilbert. In the year of 1989, Gilbert joined the staff of Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Northampton. She was featured in the magazine of VA Practitioner in April in the year of 1990. Although other nurses noticed a high number of deaths on Gilbert's watch, they passed it off and jokingly called her the Angel of Death. In the year of 1996, however, 3 nurses reported their concern about an increase in cardiac arrest deaths and a decrease in the supply of epinephrine, and an investigation ensued. Gilbert telephoned in a bomb threat to attempt to derail the investigation. Gilbert left the hospital in the year of 1996 amid a hospital investigation into the many suspicious patient deaths that occurred during her shifts. That fall, Gilbert checked herself into psychiatric hospital 7 times, stating between 1 and 10 days each time. In January year of 1998, Gilbert stood trial for calling in a bomb threat to the Northampton Veterans Medical Center to retaliate against co-workers and former boyfriend, James Perot, who was also worked at the hospital, for their participation in the investigation. In April, the year of 1998, Gilbert was convicted of that crime. William Botel, a psychiatrist who served as chief of staff at the Northampton Veterans Medical Clinic, has theory that she created emergency medical crisis situations to display her proficiency as a nurse. At the trial, prosecutors said she used a large kitchen knife in an assault in Greenfield, Massachusetts in January or February, the year of 1988. Prosecutors said that she tried twice to murder a person by poison in November, year of 1995. Prosecutors said that Gilbert tried to poison a patient at the Veterans Hospital on January 28th, year of 1996, and that she caused a medical emergency by removing a patient's breathing tube at the VA hospital on January 30th in the year of 1994. Prosecutors said that Miss Gilbert abandoned the patient undergoing cardiac arrest on November 9th, year of 1995, and then asked another nurse to accompany her on a check of patients. Prosecutors said she waited until her colleagues independently spotted the patient's difficulty before raising an alarm. Gilbert forced an untrained colleague to use cardiac defibrillation paddles on a patient during a medical emergency on November 17th, year of 1995, by refusing to use the equipment herself. Prosecutors said Gilbert threatened the life of at least one person verbally and physically in July, year of 1996, while working as a home health aide before becoming a registered nurse about 8 years ago. At the VA Medical Crimes, Gilbert purposely scalded a mental handicapped child with hot boiling water. On March 14th, year 2001, a federal jury convicted Gilbert on 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of second-degree murder, and 2 counts of attempted murder. Through Massachusetts does have the capital punishment. Her crimes were committed on federal property, thus subject to the death penalty. Prosecutors, in an attempt to secure a penalty of death, sought to admit evidence of aggravating factors during the penalty phase, including Gilbert's year of 1998 conviction for the bomb threat. The defense introduced evidence of mitigating factors, including the well-being of Gilbert's 2 children. On March 26, year 2001, the jury recommended a sentence of life imprisonment. On March 27th, the judge formally sentenced Gilbert to 4 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole, plus 20 years. She was transferred from a prison for women in Fragham, Massachusetts to FMC Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas, where she remains ever since. In July, year 2003, Gilbert dropped her federal appeal for a new trial after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that would have allowed prosecutors to pursue the death penalty upon retrial. Miss Gilbert had 2 sons with Glenn Gilbert. They divorced in the year of 1998. At the time of her arrest, she lived in Setauket, New York. Miss Gilbert's timeline is other names as the Angel of Death. Her occupation was a nurse. She is currently incarcerated. Attention seeker, her motive. Convictions, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, assault with intent to commit murder. Criminal penalty, 4 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus an additional 20 years. Details of 4 victims. Her span of crimes was the year of 1995 to the year of 1996. Gilbert is suspected of death dating back to the year of 1989. I hope you enjoy this unfortunate story. I'm Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime. And once again, we bring it to you.